What is up, YouTube? Running Gun Sports podcast back here with another NFL video. I'm your co-host Elliot, and with me is your co-host Ellis. Today we're going to be going over the Tennessee Titans off-season review. We're going to be talking about how they should draft, what they should do, who they should sign. We're going to be going over their 2020 season recap. And yeah, before we get into it though, if you like this video, drop a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We post weekly. Follow us on our socials as well, Instagram and TikTok at Running Gun Sports. So yeah, let's get into it. So in 2020, the Tennessee Titans went 11-5. Very disappointing loss in the wild card to the Baltimore Ravens. Um, Derrick Henry, of course, went off Offensive Player of the Year last year. Ryan Tannehill definitely didn't start well early in his career, but now he's looking like a pretty good quarterback, very decent quarterback. I don't doubt the Titans won't keep him for a while. They've got a ton of good wide receivers: AJ Brown, Corey Davis. That offense is extremely good, but their defense, man, they signed Jadeveon Clowney in like late August last year, but he was injured for a lot of the year. Of course, they have really good safety, Kevin Byard, but that defense just really struggled, and that's why uh, no, they didn't advance any farther than the wild card. But yeah,
Yeah, so the Titans last year, obviously, I feel like in the 2019 season, they had some big wins against some teams that they had really no business beating. And they had a very good run late in the playoffs last year. They were your Cinderella team, really, of that playoffs. Just no one expected them to make it to the AFC Championship, and they put up a pretty good fight. They beat the Patriots, and some people even thought that it might have been Tom Brady's last throw as a quarterback ever. Clearly not. But they went this year. They went 11-5. No, they won the AFC South pretty close. The Colts contested them pretty close and within a game of each other. And I think that the Titans really need to figure something else out other than just handing the ball off to Derrick Henry. I think that running the ball is their strong suit, and that they shouldn't stop handing the ball off to Derrick Henry by any means, because Derrick Henry in 2020 had 2,000 rushing yards on the year, and only 8 people have ever done that before, him included. And I just think that they got to figure something out for when he's not having a good day, like versus the Ravens. He had one of his worst days, and when you have that in such a big game, and it's win or go home, and you can't. They didn't win, so I mean they're gone, and most people expected the Titans to win that game because they had won their division. The Ravens were a wild card team, and no one really thought that they would upset the Titans, and they were up by 10 points, and Lamar Jackson just went absolutely insane because the Titans defense is just downright awful. I mean, it's just not good. According to Pro Football Focus, 0 of their players are in the top 70 position rankings for their certain position. So just obviously a bad look there. But their games this year, they were not very consistent. A lot of their games, 8 of their 11 wins were won by less than one score. And out of all those games, 5 of them, Derrick Henry had 100 rushing yards. So there's no secret that Derrick Henry is the key to success on that team, and doesn't take a genius to point that out. But you also there's teams that, like the Chiefs, their star players Mahomes, but they also have players around them. I think the Titans have players that can develop into strong players like that, like AJ Brown and Corey Davis. But if they cannot let Corey Davis go in this free agency, but I think that if they can do well in the free agency this year, they'll be all right. But I just think that
mhm,
they need to be a lot more consistent in winning 8 of your 11 wins by less than one score. I mean,
yeah,
that's like a 50-50 shot.
definitely. So the Titans have 9 picks in the upcoming draft. They have a first, a second, a fourth, a fifth, and a seventh round pick. The first round pick isn't going to be very good because they made the playoffs. Honestly, in the draft, they have a very good offense. I don't think they need to do much about that, but if they could draft draft maybe an edge rusher, linebacker. Their linebacking core is not very good. Maybe a cornerback. You already have Malcolm Butler, but they really need to boost that defense.
Last year, the Titans, obviously in the first round, did not draft well, especially with their first round pick, Isaiah Wilson. He played 2 snaps in the 2020 season, and really one of the snaps he was pancaked on, and then this year, not that long ago, this offseason, really in 2021, he put out on a tweet he's done playing football with the Titans, which now he's been traded to the Dolphins this past week. And, just not a good pick, really a waste of a first round pick where that could have been used for a trade, whatever. But I think this year, with Titans, there's a couple guys or there's a guy, the receiver. I think Elijah Moore from Ole Miss is a receiver they really need to look at for drafting. They're not very deep at the receiver position. You have AJ Brown and Corey Davis, and after that, it kind of the talent just it's a big drop off. And they cut Adam Humphries this year, so I think that if they draft Elijah Moore, they can get him in the third round. I think that will be a very good fit. Elijah Moore is one of the more explosive receivers in college football. Obviously, you're not going to hear about him as much because of guys like Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, and Terrence Marshall and Jamar Chase, all those star receivers. But he is one of those guys that is really, I think, will be great at the next level in the NFL draft. But I think the Titans, their team needs right now are, Elliott mentioned a few of them, defensive line, outside linebacker, wide receiver, cornerback, tight end. I think for outside linebacker, Bud Dupree from the Pittsburgh Steelers will be a great fit for the Titans. I think he's a young talent. He's going to do very well in that Titans system. They have Rashawn Evans, who's playing middle linebacker right now. He's done very well, but no help really other than that. The Seahawks just released Carlos Dunlap. I think that would actually be a good fit, and I think they could get him for pretty cheap considering the fact that Carlos Dunlap, this would be the third team he's been with, and he's getting kind of old. So his cap or his market value is not very much. I think T.Y. Hilton's a good would be a good fit as well. He's in Indianapolis right now. I think that the Colts might want to keep him. Cornerback AJ Boye is out right now. They just cut Malcolm Butler this past week, so we'll see what happens. And they obviously Jonnu Smith, I think, is someone they need to let go. He's not really contributing to the team that much, and there's other teams talking to him. So I think that you let him go, you free up some cap space, and maybe sign Gerald Everett for not that much, and that leaves room to sign someone for a spot that you really need.
Yeah, definitely. So the future for the Titans, they've got Derrick Henry. He was just a rookie in 2017, so I mean he's going to be around in the league for a while. Ryan Tannehill isn't that old either. I think the Colts are going to be the more dominant team in the AFC South. Sorry, for the years to come. Though I think they're a better run football team. But
Yeah, I agree. I think the Colts just have a better all-around team. The Titans are offense only, and the other thing about the Titans this year is their big games they did not play well in. The Packers game, the Steelers game, the Browns isn't as close as it looks on the scoreboard. The Titans got a couple touchdowns in garbage time and an onside kick, but they did not show up to those games. The Packers game was really supposed to be a great game when they were blown out 40-14 in there playing in Lambeau in the snow. So I mean, little bit of a disadvantage to them, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. They're in the NFL, they're professionals. They know what they're doing. They have $16 million in cap space. It's not too much, but it's enough to work with to go out and sign maybe some veteran guys, like I said, Carlos Dunlap, for that price, and we'll see what happens. I just do think that the Colts will probably win the division for the next few years, and I think the Titans can still get in at the wild card position. I just think that the Colts are better all around team. They have great defense, and I think they'll even have a better offense this year with Carson Wentz and company.
definitely. So we'll see what happens with the Titans next year. But next week we will be going to the AFC East, and we're going to be doing the Jets offseason review. After that, we'll be doing the Patriots, then the Dolphins, and the Bills, and then so on, so on. But if you enjoyed this video, do drop a like. Like I said, subscribe, turn on notifications, follow us on our socials. And yeah, have a great day. Thanks for watching.